communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi, I'm Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Remain calm in every situation because peace equals power, says Jenny's Mayer. Today I want to share with you my personal commitment to be calm, because, and I will give you 2 reasons that I want to be calm, and I will tell you 3 actions I've taken to demonstrate my personal commitment. To me, to be calm means to keep sober, serene, and control even when you are angry, feared, and stressed. And to keep calm will help you grow your self-confidence and inner peace, inner strength. So it is very important for good health. So the first reason that I'm personally committed to be calm is that I saw things were much easier to get along when you are calm. A few days ago, an NBA player, superstar Kevin Durant, came to UCLA, and my roommate was a big fan of him. So I accompanied him, waiting on Kevin's way to the parking lot. And a few minutes later, Kevin Durant went out, and my roommate was so excited, so he started to talk. But as an non-native speaker, things came out like a mess, such as I'm from China, I watch games from a young age. Kevin Durant couldn't understand what he was talking about, so he continued to walk. And at the same time, a girl came along, and apparently she wasn't a fan of Kevin Durant, because I heard she asked her friends which one was Kevin. And she wasn't nervous, so she simply said, may I have your autograph as an anniversary gift for my boyfriend? So Kevin said, yes, of course. She easily got one. I saw the whole story myself, so I feel things will get much easier if we keep calm. And the second reason that I personally committed to be calm is that people can get on better if we keep calm. It was when I was in my primary school, my teacher told us to do an activity, which was bargaining with your friend over the price of your favorite toy. And I remember it turned out to be a heated and fierce debate on whose toy was better. And I was even angry with my partner for a few days because he was really rude. And just a few days ago, in this summer session, in another class, the teacher let us do a negotiation over the price of a car, and I am the buyer and the partner was the seller. So because I'm older and I'm wiser, in 5 minutes we agreed on a price that we can both benefit from. Through these experiences, I feel that people can build better relationship if we are calm. And thirdly, I want to share with you 3 actions that I've taken to keep myself calm. Firstly, I would like to take a deep breath if I'm nervous. Just like this. And I am nervous now. And secondly, if I am angry, I would like to think from the other's perspective to see why, how they think, and it normally works. And thirdly, I would encourage myself more often, especially from a deep mind. Fourth, I feel less nervous and things will go smoothly and people get on better with each other when I try these actions. So in all, I've shared with you my personal commitment and 2 reasons why I am personally committed to be calm, and 3 actions that I've taken to demonstrate it. There should be no doubt in this room that I'm really personally committed to being calm. And I took a lot of deep breath last night, so I feel powerful today. And it's just because peace equals power. Thank you.
Thank you. Stepping back today.
Hi, I'm Angelica.
Hi, Angelica.
I really like your speech. It was very easy to follow, and you were also very calm throughout, so your personal commitment is definitely working.
Okay. Yeah, it would be odd if he wasn't, wouldn't it? He wouldn't be practicing what he's preaching. Improvement, please.
Hi, Han.
Hi, Han.
Yeah, I love your speech. I think it's good. And the first story is just really vivid. And problem I think is maybe you can still try to practice your personal commitment. I think it's still a little bit nervous. And the total speech maybe not that fluent.
Okay, those are good ideas. You don't go by Ron G, you go by Joe, right? Is that what you want to be called?
Yeah.
Okay, Joe. Joe it is. You started off with a quote from Joyce Meyer. Remain calm in every situation because peace equals power. Who is Joyce Meyer?
It was.
He, she.
She was. I remember she was an author of a book. The book's name was Master of Stupid.
The Master of Stupid?
Yes.
Something like that. Okay. Well, what you want to do when you introduce a quote is you want to say, according to author Joyce Meyer, she observed that it is good to remain calm in every situation because peace equals power. So your audience knows you're quoting somebody special. It's called argument from authority. And you give them an authority when you say they're an author. Otherwise, we don't know Joyce Meyer from Joe Blow, right? We don't know who's Joyce Meyer, right? Your thesis preview was fine. Your significant statement was good. You told stories, and your first story about meeting Kevin Durant. Pardon me, but because not everyone is a basketball fan. What team does he play for?
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oklahoma. So say that. Say an NBA star from the Oklahoma Okies or whatever it's called. What's the name of that? What's it called? Oklahoma what?
Thunder.
Oklahoma Thunder. According to NBA star from the Oklahoma Thunder, Kevin Durant was at UCLA. Okay. Your story was good about your friend that had kind of a tied tongue and couldn't get too many words out because he was so nervous. And then a girl just walked up and said, "Can I have your autograph?" And he gave it to her. And this was your, you want to say something at the end of your story, and something like, so the moral of the story is that I think it's good to be calm and prepared and not so nervous, you'll be more effective. Okay? See what I'm saying? Yeah. On your second story, or your second reason why you want to be calm, you told the story of, was it elementary school when you were negotiating for toys and it didn't go well. And you said you had a hard time with it and you were kind of mad and upset, and you know, you just still remember that to this day, that you lost your calm. That was good, and I again want to say to you, and so you see, you're not effective when you lose your calm. Have a little moral in there of the story. You told a third story of another class where you were negotiating, and you said you were older and wiser, and so that was good. And so that was a good story. On your actions, I'm looking to see that your actions are consistent with your personal commitment, and I thought they were. You said, take a deep breath when I get nervous. Have you heard of yoga?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes the yoga breathing exercises can be helpful. For some students that are extremely nervous, I will give them some yoga breathing things to do at their seat before they go up, taking in a very deep breath to the bottom of their stomach and breathing in calmness, breathing out anxiety, kind of a mantra-ish thing that makes them calm. But there's no question that when you're anxious, your breath gets shallow. So you're wise to breathe. And I would incorporate some yoga into your effort to be calm. Okay? On the, you said, think from the other person's perspective, and I call that be empathetic, and try to understand where the other person is coming from, and I thought that was a good one. And then finally, your third one was to be confident and encourage myself to be calm in my mind. And it's a difficult thing because sometimes our emotions can overrun us and we lose our calmness, right? Yeah. On your fourth point where you said, when I perform these actions, here I feel how I feel, you said you felt less nervous. And I want to stress and make sure if you look at your outline, you have that fourth point of how you feel when you take your personal commitment. Your summary, your conclusion, and your tie back to the Joyce Meyer quote were all fine. What were your goals? Did you have 3 goals? Remember to always put your... If you don't have your goals on your paper at the bottom, folks, write them in now. Go have 3 goals, 3 speaking goals. What were your goals?
I think I want to try to do my speech without script.
Good, good. Extemporaneous. So you did that. And secondly?
This is the first time.
Yes, that's good. That was a step forward in your evolution. What else?
And secondly, I want to get rid of the things.
Right, those fillers. And what else?
And keep eye contact with the audience.
Yeah. Yes, okay. The only other thing I would say is even though you were trying to be, persuade us all that you were trying to be more calm, you don't want to be too calm when you're speaking because you'll be boring. You understand? So you want to have some diversity, some variety in your speaking so that you are interesting to listen to, and then you'll be more sticky. Thank you very much. Okay, do we have another A? Ready to go? Okay, rock and roll. Thanks. Okay, she stands before you, managing attention. He's writing, he's texting, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily.
Hi, Emily.
So, skeep, skop, scoop, beep, bomb, skeep, bop, ba, skivit, a vividu, ba, skividu, bop, ba, up, skip, up, a vividu, ba, skivit, a vividu, up. So, that may have sounded funny. What I just recited to you was a phrase of music and wisdom. It's called scat, and it was an accident. One day in the recording studio, Louis Armstrong, world-renowned American jazz trumpet player, was recording a song and he forgot his lyrics. So what he did was, instead of singing words, he substituted those for syllables. And he sang those to the sound of the melody, and before he knew it, he created a whole new category of jazz. It was called scat. So Louis Armstrong teaches us that a mistake isn't really so bad all the time. And today I want to share with you how my path led to trumpet, and that being my personal commitment playing the instrument. So today I'm going to share with you two actions or two events in my life that have led me to personally commit to trumpet playing, and three actions I've taken to pursue trumpet playing. So first off, my first life event that led me to play trumpet starts in the 6th grade, first year of middle school. So I decided to take band as my elective, and I was assigned the flute. And within the first week, they had professionals playing for us. They played all different sorts of instruments, and one day, one player came to play the trumpet. And with the first note that he belted out, I got chills. It was surprising for me as a 6th grader. And that was my first emotional and physical reaction to music, especially trumpet. And that left a mark on me. Ever since then, I gravitated toward the sound of trumpet, but I convinced myself that I had already started playing flute for an entire week. I couldn't possibly find the time to start a different instrument. So I stuck with the flute, and I played in the band, sat in the flute section, but throughout all the songs, I listened for the trumpets. So I guess you could say as a woodwind, I had a bit of an identity crisis, trying to play a brass instrument, or wanting to. And this leads to my second event that led me to play trumpet. So this happens a couple years later, fast forward to 8th grade, my last year of middle school, right before high school. I'm excited to enter high school, try out the advanced music classes, and I figure I might as well see one of the jazz concerts. So I go and I listen to one of the high school jazz concerts, and before I know it, that urge to play trumpet again is reawakened, and it rises up within me, and I can't stop thinking about playing it. I know that I have to finally at least try it to satisfy my desire to play. And so I started trumpet, and I decided with that inspiration to take 3 courses of action. That leads to my third point. So with that inspiration from that jazz concert, I took 3 actions. The first one being to actually start playing trumpet. It's one thing to be inspired and to say you want to do something, but I decided to actually do it. And it took a lot of guts to start a month before my freshman year of high school to start trumpet, and to go right into the music program with very little experience compared to the other students who had years of experience on their instruments. It was a daunting task, but I hit the ground with my feet running, and I was ready to play. And that leads to my next set of action. I decided to practice every day, whether it be music theory or actually playing the trumpet. Every day I think about how I can be better than than yesterday. And my last set of action is my commitment to push myself every day and seize every solo opportunity I can, especially in jazz improvisation. It can be scary to improvise, but I know that practice makes, close to perfect. So I decided that the more practice I could get, the more I break out of my comfort zone, the better I can be. And so those are the actions I've taken to pursue my commitment. I've showed you that the 2 events in my life, coming into middle school, waiting 3 years to play trumpet, and then finally seeing that jazz concert to re-spark that interest, led me to take 3 actions: to start the trumpet, practice every day, and constantly break out of my comfort zone. There should be no doubt in this room that I am personally committed to playing trumpet. And so, if Louis Armstrong and playing trumpet have taught me anything, it's that you rarely make mistakes. I mean, you can skip the Ucla instead of saying words. You can pursue a major in business instead of electrical engineering. You can try spicy food today instead of your usual salad. You can be spontaneous and you can go after what you want. And if you make mistakes and if you dare to do what may not seem right, it just might pay off.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alvin,
Hi, Alvin.
and I really like your speech. You're very organized with your all personal commitment in playing the trumpet, and you're very vocal about it. You made eye contact with everyone, and you seem pretty relaxed.
Improvement?
Oh man, I have to go through again.
Start with your name.
My name is Alex.
Hi, Alex.
I would say I really like your details, but maybe like find the ones that are like most important so that you can just make the speech a little shorter. But overall, great job.
Thank you, Alex. Well, Emily, surprise, surprise, you play the trumpet. Who would have thunk? I loved your story about Louis Armstrong and the accidental discovering of a new part of jazz, and so that was excellent. And it was the story was very pertinent to the theme that you developed throughout your speech, so that was good. Your thesis was good. Thesis preview was fine. Would have liked to spend a little more time on your SIG statement, just selling a little bit more of the audience. I like what you wrote here. You didn't say it exactly, but I like what you wrote here. On your first story about how you got the chills when you heard the trumpet player play, and this was your first emotional reaction to music and to the trumpet. We all remember our first emotional reaction. Oh, okay, these are emotions. Yeah, got it. And so that was a good story, and I liked the way you played it out and said, but alas, I was on the flute, and so I stuck with the flute, and so that was kind of a bittersweet story, but that was okay. Your movement was okay, maybe a little bit further to each way, and when you moved, then focus on that side of the room, and especially on the back. On your second story, where you told us how you started, then got the courage to start the trumpet. That was a good story, and is a good explanation of how you came to your passion and that sort of thing. So I like that. On your actions, remember to number them with your voice more, and so you say, I've got 3 actions that I'm going to share with you that I've taken. And then you told us what you did about practicing and hitting the ground and so forth. But if you preview those 3 and then you say 3, then it's easier to follow. You gave kind of a light touch to how you feel about your actions after you took the actions. You wrote here, I feel liberated with a heightened sense of who I am. I didn't drop 5 years of flute playing to be the quiet and timid trumpet player in the jazz band. No, I played the trumpet to express myself loud and clear.
Right.
That was, that's what I was after for you to say and to express more, because it's in that. Remember, if you're reading the Sticky Book now, you know that emotion is one of the key elements to good storytelling, to grabbing and holding the attention of your audience. Your summary was good, your conclusion and tie back to your story was excellent, and I liked the way you tied it in and made the allusion to electrical engineering, so it shows that you're an active listener in class and you remember other people's stories, and they appreciate that. So that was good. On your goals, you want to minimize your hand motion. Explain that to me.
Okay,
You
so
feel that you're too much of
a
this?
little bit. I think I swing my arms, and
Uh-huh.
I think I did that a little too much today also.
Okay. Tai Chi will help you know what your body's doing while you're speaking, if you're not so aware of all this shaking and stuff. But you're right, you don't want to do it excessively, it'll be distracting. Stay within the time limit and captivate the audience with strategic pauses. How'd it go?
I think I did actively try to make strategic pauses and let the story breathe, so to speak.
Yeah.
However, because of that, I forgot to mention some key parts of my speech that I wanted to say, and I sort of forgot to mention in the moment, like the ones you mentioned.
Yeah.
So I think extemporaneous speaking I need to work on a little bit more because I tend to forget some important parts.
And the way to do that, Emily, is when you practice with a live person, not a mirror, have them hold your script or your card, and when you skip over a part, then say it. Have them remind you, and then you'll say it, and you go, okay, I always have a 1, 2, 3, and then there's a 4, how I feel. Secondly, if you speak the speech out aloud and say the parts out aloud, first it'll sound something like this. First I'll do the Louis Armstrong quote, then I'll have a transition to my thesis preview, which I'll give 2 reasons and 3 actions that I've taken, and then I'm going to have a SIG statement, which I'll inspire everybody to follow their dreams. Then I'll tell my first story about, was it 6th grade, and then the flute, and then I'll tell my second story about the trumpet. And say the speech aloud, the parts, and then try saying it backwards. And in making LexisNexis connections, you don't have it just one way, but you have it numerous ways in your mind, and you want to have different routes and paths into the information. But by the end of the quarter, I hope you'll have mastered the 7-part storytelling so you can do it in your sleep, so at least you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. But overall, I like your thought about let the story breathe, and I thought you did do that. You were following the advice you had given others. You can do more of that. Thank you. Okay, next. Any more volunteers? Any more A's? Yeah, there's an A, yeah. Let's give her a round of applause. Yeah. Hi, how you doing today? That's good. There we go. Is your name on this somewhere?
Oh, I forgot my name.
You forgot your name, unless you put it somewhere that I can't see here. You want to
Okay,
put
so
it on
I write
there?
my name.
Write your name across the top. Make sure your name's on your outline, please, folks. Yeah, don't stop it. Caused me a nervous breakdown when we had 2 parts to fuse together. I had to learn how to do that. Okay, she's sitting managing attention, she's reading. She's communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hey everybody, my name is Jill.
Hi, Jill.
So, I want to ask you, what is your hobby? Do you like playing basketball? Do you like playing piano or dancing? Today I want to talk something about my personal commitment to keeping my hobbies. Then I give you my 2 reasons and 3 actions I will demonstrate my personal commitment. And nowadays, people are more and more busy. For me, after I go to college, I become more and more busy, and it is hard for me to keep my hobbies because people can feel the pressure that can from the work, the relationship, and the social that makes people care less about their what they want to do. So today I want to say that my personal commitment is keeping my hobbies, and keeping my hobbies really make people feel more energetic and passionate towards life. And then I will share you my 2 reasons that is why I want to keep that is why I want to keep my hobbies. The first reason I want to keep my hobbies is that after I go to college, I feel my life is a little bit tedious, which is that I feel that I live in the college and there's only assignments and deadlines in my life. And so I just wonder, what if I just do what I like? What if I play piano, because I love to play piano, but I just quit playing piano for a long time. So then I decided to go to the music room. So I play the song that is written by a very famous Japanese writer. His name is Miyazaki, and the song is Kiki's Deliver Service. So I practice every day. And I find it very difficult at the beginning because I just quit playing piano for a long time. But it's become easier and easier after I really feel that I am enjoying it. And then I heard that there's a show for the celebration of New Year. So I just tried to make the audition that I want to play the piano in front of the people. And they just said, "Oh, you play so good." So I just performed the song in front of my classmates, and it is a huge success. It was a huge success. So I feel very encouraged. I feel my life is encouraged by my hobbies. So this is the first reason I feel very happy about playing piano. And the second reason why I want to keep my hobby is that I want to make more friends. Because last week my roommate brought me to the hip-hop dancing club to take the free class of teach you how to dance the hip-hop dancing. And I met lots of people there, and I find that they really enjoy doing the dance. And I also relieve my pressure and my stress and make lots of friends. So I just think that life can be so colorful if you really want to do what you really like and share it with the people by making more friends. And then third, I want to tell you my 3 actions that is how I achieve my personal commitment. First is that I decided to practice one song every week of playing piano. And the second is every week I will go out with my friends to dance the hip-hop dancing. And the third is that I will arrange my time more efficiently so I can have more time to do what I really like. And the fourth, when I was demonstrating taking actions about my personal commitment, I feel really happy. So I want to say that life can be boring, but you can choose how you live it. You can choose to be happy if you really enjoy life to do what you really like. So tie back to my introduction that if you like to play basketball, don't quit it. If you like to dance, to play piano, why not do it? So do it now to enjoy your life. Thank you.
Thank you. 4:13, so you're right on time. What'd you like?
Hi, I'm Amelia.
Hi, Amelia.
I like your speech, and I think today you're very fluent and can well structure. Like start with asking us what are our hobbies, and then tie back to give us suggestion to keep it. And I think you really enjoyed your speech.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so when someone is enjoying themselves, it's a pleasure to watch them speak because they're enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And enthusiasm is contagious, isn't it?
And I also feel the passion.
Yeah, the passion is good. Improvement?
Hi, I'm Daisy.
Hi, Daisy.
I like your speech too. I can hear your passion, your hobbies. One thing I think you improve is maybe you can speak a little bit slower. And other than that.
Yeah, I guess you were moving along to get through in time, and that's fine. You started with a rhetorical question to try to involve the whole audience. That's okay. Try a different way to start your final persuasive speech so that you have some variety, a poem, a quote, a story, a joke even, if it's appropriate. Your thesis preview was fine. Your significant statement was good. You shared with the audience that you felt more energetic and passionate after following your hobbies, and they would too. So it was a pretty good sell. On your first story about why you're committed to your hobbies, we then learned one of your hobbies is playing the piano. And so you told us some details about practicing and then performing and getting positive feedback. So it had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you shared your emotions in there. So it had all the components of good storytelling. So I like that very much, Jill. Second story, you talked about learning hip-hop. And this was your story of making more friends, and this was why you wanted to pursue dancing as a hobby, and you explained that you got rid of your stress and that sort of thing. So that was all good. Just a little moral of the story at the end would be helpful if you had time. You want to vary your pace if you can, slower, faster, and you'll have to edit some stuff out so you can slow down and get it within the time limit. On your actions, I thought they were consistent with your PC. Playing the piano once a week is consistent, and then dancing and hanging out with friends is consistent. And then arranging your time so you leave time for your hobbies was also consistent. I fault you a little on your fourth step. You were pretty light on how you felt. You said, I feel happy. I would like you to have elaborated on that to make another stronger emotional connection with your audience. Your summary, your conclusion, your tie back were all fine. You said, be more confident when speaking in front of people, have more eye contact with the audience, and enjoy the speech. How'd it go?
I feel it's fine. I feel more nature because I don't because at this time I didn't practice so many times. I just want to. I just wonder, what if I just do the speech, just follow my heart, not just recite the.
Right.
Yeah.
Be extemporaneous.
Yeah.
And if you practice extemporaneously, it'll be different every time. As you grow older and wiser, you'll leave something out, you'll put something more in that you want to elaborate. It's like what Emily was talking about when you get into improvisation. When you improvise with your speaking, you can add certain things that seem appropriate at the moment if you think of something that would work. So I thought you did a nice job. And for the confidence, you've heard me say this to others, you just fake it until you make it. And so pretend to be confident, and then people won't know the difference, okay? So you did a nice job, Joe. Thank you. There we go, another volunteer, yay. Who's managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Leah.
Hi, Leah.
Today I want to start with a question. What do you think of when you hear the word dyslexia? Let me guess. You think of someone that reads letters upside down and backwards. Well, would it surprise you that this is just a stereotype and only describes one type of dyslexia? Today I want to share with you my personal commitment to dyslexia. I'll share 2 reasons why I'm personally committed and 3 actions I've taken to demonstrate my personal commitment. I think that dyslexia affects more people than anyone realizes. The statistic is that 1 in 5 people are dyslexic, which means that you all probably know someone that has a learning disability, which is why I think that we can all relate to this topic. The first reason that I'm personally committed to dyslexia is because in 1st grade I was diagnosed. I knew the letters and the sounds that the letters made, but I had a hard time piecing it all together. So while my friends around me were reading chapter books, I was struggling through basic sentences. So my teacher, Ms. Payne, recommended to my parents that I get tested. At such a young age, I didn't know what it all meant, but I could understand that it was important.
I could see my parents' concern about this new challenge in my life. And the other thing I knew at such a young age is that I was different, which is really difficult for a 6-year-old to know. That is why I feel a deep connection to my personal commitment. The second reason that I'm personally committed to dyslexia is because of what it taught me, especially in high school. When I started high school at Princeton Day School, I knew that the workload was going to be a lot more challenging than what I had faced in the past, especially in English, which had always been my weakest subject. In 9th grade, my English teacher, Miss Witten, was very tough, and I could tell this from the first day of school as she talked about all the things that we would be doing, all the books, all the essays, everything. I knew that it was going to be really hard. So I went up to her after the first day and told her that I was dyslexic and asked her about ways that I could still succeed in the class. This was a really big step for me because throughout middle school I was really embarrassed of my learning disability and didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my friends, I didn't tell my teachers. My mom talked to some of the teachers and the principal in my middle school, but I never did. But this self-advocacy has grown throughout high school and continues today, and I'm really grateful that my dyslexia taught me this very valuable skill. Now, 3 actions that I've taken toward my personal commitment. First, my senior year of high school, I gave a speech at Learning Ally, which is a nonprofit organization that records books for people who are blind and dyslexic. I told my story and how it impacted my life and how Learning Ally really helped me succeed. Second, I felt like I helped teachers at my school learn about dyslexia. I tried to explain what I needed to still be successful throughout high school, and I really hope that it helped other people who are dyslexic at my high school in the future. Third, I want to continue to be an advocate for people with dyslexia, especially young children, and help them learn that it's nothing to be embarrassed of, and they can still succeed. So I've shared with you my personal commitment to dyslexia and 2 reasons why I am personally committed and 3 actions I've taken to demonstrate my personal commitment. There should be no doubt in this room that I'm personally committed to dyslexia. So now I hope that when you think of dyslexia, you think of me, a hardworking, successful student at a top university, rather than just the stereotype, and together we can work towards getting rid of the stigma toward people with learning disabilities.
342.
Hi, Erica.
I really liked your speech. I think you obviously followed the prompt really well, and I think you were successful at telling us something that we probably didn't know about you, which was the whole point.
Yeah, and it took some courage to share with something that was private, and that was supposed to be the personal part of the personal commitment. Was a surprising thing about you that you normally wouldn't share. You don't you don't usually walk around and say, "Hi, I'm Leah Falcon and I'm dyslexic," right? It's not the first thing. It's not the first thing out of your mouth, right? No. Okay, improvement.
Hi, I'm Anna.
Hi, Anna.
First of all, I like your speech a lot. I found it very inspirational. I think you could work on your body language a little bit, and sometimes you were talking really fast.
Remember, you have an international audience, so yeah. Let's talk about your delivery. I like your speech. Let me start with that. But let's talk about your delivery. When you watch yourself tonight on YouTube, you'll see there's a little bit. It became a little mechanical in places. You know what I mean? We're just saying the words instead of really feeling them and speaking really fully extemporaneously. So be careful in practicing so much that it's almost memorized word for word. You want to avoid that. Let's start at the top. You started with a definition of dyslexia, and you started off with a rhetorical question: what do you think of when you hear the word dyslexia? And you didn't really expect people to raise their hand and say disease or something awful like that, right? So you went ahead and answered the question with, some stereotypes and stuff like that. So that was good. What I also would have liked is if you could have talked a little bit more, stressed a little bit more that there's varying degrees of dyslexia, and some people are really deeply infirmed by it, and other people are just flip a letter or gradually can work to overcome it. Your significant statement, 1 people in 5 are dyslexic. I would have liked you to have mentioned some famous people like Ted Turner and other people that are dyslexic. So you can say people have been very successful despite being dyslexic, so it's not the end of the world. On your first story, I loved it. It was your best story because it had emotions in there, and you talked about the fact that you were struggling in the first grade, and Ms. Payne suggested that you be tested. And so that's when you learned that you were different, and you sensed the anxiety from your parents. Oh, what's wrong? Why is Leah being tested? Blah, 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 blah. And so you communicated that emotion well of feeling a little alienated from school right at the get-go because of your dyslexia. So I like that story very much. On your second story of Princeton Day School and your tough English teacher, Ms. Winston, or Winton, I guess it is. And your point of that story was that your parents would occasionally tell your teachers, but you were starting to engage in self-advocacy and say, I've got this problem and I can talk about it and I'm not ashamed of it. And I thought that was good and healthy. I would have liked to have known how Ms. Winton reacted to your self-advocacy. Did she make arrangements for you? Did it work out? Was it good? Was it bad? Because you left us hanging because she sounded like a tough lady when you first got there. And I don't know if she was just thinking, oh, she's a baby, she's coming up with excuses to get out of work or something. I don't know. I've had people that, students with disabilities have told me that other professors have told them, snap out of this. The real world isn't going to give you extra time for exams and all this stuff. So get used to it now in college and stop whining, And I think that's horrible. But so I would have liked to have known what happened with Ms. Winton. You want to move a little better 3 times. You're still swaying. So remember the Tai Chi, so you're just doing that. And if you can lock your legs a little bit, you won't sway so much. On your actions, you talked about Learning Alley. That was good. Your second one was your self-advocacy, and your third one was speaking out for others that have the problem. I would like you to have expanded a little on the fourth point of how you feel. Feel really empowered, feel really good.
I forgot.
Yeah, I know. It hides down there, that fourth point. Everyone remember, star your fourth point so you don't forget it. It's easy to let it slip by, And then your summary, your conclusion, and tie back were all fine. And your goal is to be confident, not sway, and have better storytelling. How'd it go?
I still think I'm nervous and I still think I'm swaying, but I thought the storytelling was a lot better.
Storytelling was a lot better. You gave us a lot more details. You shared real authentic things about yourself, private stuff about yourself. So it was a personal commitment. So that was excellent. Thank you. Wait a minute, she's reading things like manage attention, communicate, respect, non-verbal, front, eyes in the front, stuff, so your name, feel love.
Hi, I'm Tinsley.
Hi, Tinsley.
And see, this is my phone. You can see that the phone screen is totally cracking and my home button is missing. Why? Because I thought I'm really good at biking, so I pretty like texting while I was biking. So, but once I cannot keep balance, and then in order to save myself, I have to give up saving my phone. So, today I want to share with you guys my personal commitment to stop playing my phone when I was walking or biking. I want to share you 2 reasons why I do this personal commitment and 3 actions how I can achieve this. I really don't like walking because I think walking is kind of boring. So I like checking my Facebook, Instagram, or WeChat when I was walking. But this is a very bad habit. I have to stop it because first, when I was walking, I would get lost if I focus on my cell phone. For example, my apartment is around Tiverton Avenue. As most people know, it's near to UCLA. It's just go straight down from the Broom Bear and then turn left and then turn right, and that's it. But sometimes I keep focusing on my phone and I just keep go straight forward and forget to turn left. So when I remember to look up the road and I really don't know where I am, so I have to Google Map back to my apartment. Second, it is very dangerous and unhealthy. First, it's very unhealthy to my eyes if I playing my cell phone when I'm walking. And second, it's very dangerous. Once I cross the road and then still playing my cell phone. And my friend Grace, she's very angry and told me so seriously and told me that you will die for this. So I was shocked at first, but I was surprised. But I feel like very scared if I really think about it. So I swear to myself, I never do this again. I never play my cell phone when I'm walking. Now I want to share you guys 3 actions that how to achieve this personal commitment. First, I try to turn or close the notifications of my Facebook, WeChat, and Instagram. But you know it's very inconvenient, so I give up. And then I choose to turn off my cell phone when I was working. Again, it's very inconvenient. So first, I try to open the music app and turn on the music, and then put my cell phone into my backpack, which I'm so lazy to get it out again. So it worked, and I don't feel bored, and I don't need to play with my cell phone. So it is, in summary, today I share with you guys 2 reasons that why I personal commitment to stop playing my phone when I was walking and biking, and 3 actions that how to achieve this personal commitment. So it is no doubt that now I really don't play with my phone when I was walking, and this is a wise and healthy choice for me, I think. And I swear to you guys, if you see me on the street play with my cell phone, I will buy you a meal, a dinner. I swear.
A meal, yeah. Thank you. That was 349.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
Hi,
Elizabeth.
I really like your speech, especially your demonstration with the iPhone, and also you choose a topic that is really interesting, and you make this speech very vividly and passionately. This speech.
Thank you. Improvement.
Hi, I'm Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Joe.
I like your speech too. It's very interesting. And if I have to say something, I have to say maybe sometimes you look up and down rather than look at the audience most of the time.
And that was one of your goals, to have more eye contact with your audience, and we'll work on that in just a minute, so you get 3 to 5 seconds. I'll show you what that feels like. You started with the story of biking, and you held your cell phone in your hand. And initially I was concerned because I was thinking it was going to be a prop that was going to stop you from gesturing. I was thinking you were going to use it and put it in your pocket or something. But it worked out okay. And it was a good story of biking and falling and that sort of thing. I was looking for the tie back to the biking, but you did sort of tie back to you using the cell phone while walking, so that was pretty close. Your thesis preview was good. Your significance statement didn't really sell the speech to the audience. It was personal. You said, I don't really like walking. I find it boring. I rather check Facebook, Instagram, etc., blah, blah, blah. And remember, a significant statement says, I know you, the audience, will find my speech interesting because I bet you all have been driving and texting or walking and texting, and it's dangerous. So sell it to them, see? Okay. On your first story, it was a cute story about getting lost, just walking to Tiverton. And I like that, and I like the idea that you could Google yourself back home after getting lost in the throes of Westwood Village or wherever you ended up. So that was a good story. Remember, sometimes, as you saw Steve Jobs do, remember on the first day of class, he had a little, so the moral of the story, you can see his words every time, so what the story means. So you see it can be real dangerous to do this kind of thing. Your second story was your walking in the street and your friend yelling at you, saying, you know, you're crazy, you're going to get killed because you're not watching them. And I've seen people walk out into intersections because they're busy texting away, and it can be frightening. So I thought it was a good story. And on your actions, remember to do more with your voice in the numbering. You want to stress and say, first, I close my text. Second, you know, with your voice, stress that you're doing three things. And then I want more feelings, that fourth step. How do you feel when you put your phone away? Put it down. I feel empowered. I feel good. I feel safe. Like that. Put your feelings in there. Summary, conclusion, and tie back were all fun. I'll buy you a milk. Okay. I guess that's something good in China, huh?
I think it was a meal.
Oh, meal,
meal.
not milk.
Not milk.
Okay. I said you'll buy me a milk. Yeah, all right, I got it now. Now, you said your goal was to be more fluent, to have more eye contact, and to be confident. How'd it go?
I think next time I can more eye contact, maybe
Yes.
3 and 5 seconds.
Yes. Let me show you how long this is. Let's start here in the front with Leah. And tell us, just start talking, tell us about your morning. I woke up at 4 a.m. and did Tai Chi, and then I meditated, and then okay, so start with your morning.
I woke up at 8.
And I'm going to tap when it's been 5 seconds, so you can go on to the next person.
Okay. I woke up at 8 and then I have breakfast and then 5.
Thought you were looking, no, I didn't snap, so you can't look away. You need to look at her longer. And if you blink or look up or look down or look away, I start the clock over again. Start over again.
And then I prepare my presentation and then I go to print my presentation and then I go to school and then I come here and listen to other speech and I started thinking my speech is kind of stupid because it's personal commitment is interesting maybe and then I go to the stage and present the speech and
okay. Did you get the feeling for how long 3 to 5 seconds is and how much longer it is than what you were doing? But research shows that's part of you making a connection and a way of holding the attention of your audience and making your speech sticky. So you'll want to do more of that. So overall, you did a nice job. Just good storytelling, fairly personal. Getting lost, I guess, was pretty personal. Okay, thank you. volunteer?
Oh no, I need to go to the bathroom.
Any more volunteers? Okay, excellent. Give her a round of applause. Yeah. How you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Okay, she's managing attention, communicating respect, non-verbally, usually I know front and center. She's reading. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Youth is happy because it has the capacity to see beauty. Anyone who keeps this ability to see beauty never grows old. Franz Kafka. Today I want to share with you my personal commitment to staying young at heart. I will tell you 2 reasons why I'm personally committed to this, and 3 actions I've done to demonstrate my personal commitment. Even though this is my personal commitment, I believe this could apply to your lives as well. We live in such a fast-paced and adult world, and we should try to enjoy those few moments of childhood while we can. The first reason why I'm personally committed to staying young at heart is because of a failed friendship of my past. I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada, a place famous for sin and casinos. I think this really had an impact on the mentality of the youth of the Las Vegas natives. People tried to grow up as fast as they could because they wanted to enjoy the glitz and the glam of the Las Vegas Strip. I personally never felt the need to succumb to this behavior because I grew up in a really sound and moral family, but one of my closest friends as a child did. In 2nd grade, we were inseparable. We spent every weekend sleeping over at each other's houses and ritually watched SpongeBob every morning. In middle school, though, we started to separate. She began hanging with an older crowd and would spend her weekends sneaking into nightclubs on the Strip. I was still wanting to watch my favorite sponge make Krusty Krab patties. And I saw her go down a really troubled path. She started experimenting with drugs and alcohol at the age of 13, and I decided to confront her about it. I was met with anger and really hurtful words, and our relationship just shattered. What I learned from this experience is that when we're kids, we should just be kids, and that if we try to grow up as so fast, when we're not mature enough to handle adult-like activities, then it could lead to some negative consequences. The second reason why I'm personally committed to staying young at heart is because it brings me happiness. I just really enjoy kid-like activities, whether that means listening to One Direction or eating SpongeBob fruit snacks. I'd be lying if I told you I was never ashamed of this. In high school, I had a group of friends who ridiculed me for wanting to stay in and play Monopoly over going out to party. They made me feel really insecure about my youthful side, and I just wanted to hide it. And then the next year, when I made a new friend, I also tried to mask this part of me. But one day, when I was watching High School Musical in the comfort of my home, she decided to pay me a surprise visit. And I was absolutely mortified that she saw me watching this Disney movie, and I thought she would really think badly of me. I got a different response than I expected. She thought my youthful nature was really endearing, and that she secretly liked the movie too. And we spent the rest of the night laughing and singing our hearts out with Zac Efron to Breaking Free. This showed me that it's okay to be who I am, and that being real and being true to yourself will attract friends that will accept you for who you are. And then now I'm going to tell you about the 3 actions I've taken to achieve my personal commitment. The first is that I try to volunteer with children as much as I can. It allows me to help the world while also I can explore my youthful side, and I have done that thus far by tutoring kindergarten students and also being a teaching assistant in my Temple's religious school classes. The second action I have taken is that whenever I get bogged down in my financial problems or my academics or about the world as it's shattering as we know it, I decide to take a break and just try to embrace my youth. And I do this by going out and playing in the sun or watching an episode of Kim Possible, and it just allows me to take a breath and enjoy what brings me happiness. And then the third action I have taken is that I try to maintain a really close relationship with my family. Even though I'm at college, I still think it's important to really stay close to them and see how their lives are. And I do this by calling my parents every day and trying to visit them as much as I can, and it like reminds me of my childhood days. These actions really made me feel helpful by helping the students. It made me feel strong by like really embracing what I love, and then it made me feel content by like staying in contact with my family. In summary, I've told you 2 reasons why I'm personally committed to staying young at heart, and 3 actions I have taken to achieve this goal. At the beginning of this speech, I told you a Franz Kafka quote about how youth has the capacity to see beauty. And you know what? He was absolutely right. Youth allows us to see the good in others. It allows us to spread joy and laughter, and also like really see what's good about our life here. This quote embodies why I am personally committed to staying young at heart. Thank you.
Thank you. 508.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, we're here. Good.
Hi, I'm Brianna.
Hi,
Brianna.
Oops.
I really liked your speech. I really liked how you discussed a topic that I think a lot of people can relate to, staying young at heart, and I really liked how like your stories played into it. And I think you also had really good like emotion with it. Good job.
Yeah. Improvement.
Hi, my name is Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Emily.
Okay, so I really enjoyed your speech, and it's kind of hard for me to find something for you to improve on because I feel like you conveyed a sensitive topic with confidence. So I think that was great. But maybe for the time, I guess that's an honest because it's 70 time. So I'll also say, I guess maybe varying your tone. I feel like everybody could do that though. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah, start there. Very in your tone, you make it more interesting to listen to. It's not all the same. I was just saying this to the previous speaker that there was a little mechanicalness in the delivery. Yeah, I thought this was a personal commitment, and this was very personal to share that you like Disney films and things like that. And I must say that I tried to say this when I was pushing for people to do Disney films for the film speech. It's nothing to be ashamed of. They're quite good. They're well scored. They often have great storylines and great moral messages that come out of them. So, and you learn from them. It's much the way people in previous era learned from fairy tales and things like that were told orally to them by their parents or their grandparents, and they internalized those lessons. Let's start at the top and give you some feedback. Who's Frank Kafka?
famous author.
Author, philosopher, existentialist philosopher. Tell us that. Once again, I said this to Leah, and I said this to others, so incorporate, say who your quote is, say who your person is, so you have more credibility. So if you're already yet to speak, put in who your author is. This is an existentialist philosopher. On your thesis preview, it was fine. I liked your significance statement. It was short and sweet. On your first story of your friend that grew up early and got hooked into drugs and pretty much went down a bad road, that was a good story, and you had a good moral at the end. You said this incident shows it isn't necessary to grow up too fast and so forth. So I like the fact that you summed your story up with a moral at the end of it, and that was good. My only suggestion for the storytelling was name her by name. Her name was Sarah. Because I had a friend, well, give her a name. It's just a quick detail that makes it more real. On your second story, you talked about being caught at home by a friend watching a Disney movie and eating Scooby-Doo fruit snacks or something. And, or High School Musical, I guess it was. And much to your surprise, she shared your enthusiasm and you had a good old time. And so you learned something from that it isn't necessary to always conceal yourself, although, you know, people are fairly guarded about certain personal and private things. So I thought you were on point with that. On your actions, you try to work with children, that was fine. I like the way you said that I take a break and return to childish things. You know, the great poet E.E. Cummings, I don't know if you've heard of him, there's a famous line in one of his poems about how children, we knock out the innocence and the loveliness out of them, that they can see the beauty young, but we knock it out of them. And the line is, and down they forgot as up they grew. And that's what happens to children, is they forget the beauty of life that they saw and remembered when they were children. So I thought I'd share that with you as an appropriate thing to think about. And finally, yeah, you talk about getting older doesn't mean you have to not see the beauty in things and that sort of thing. You went over time, and you said you wanted to have less hand motion and keep the audience's attention to stay within the time limit. Where do you think you could have edited so you had more time?
I think my outline is fine. It's just I do the opposite of a lot of people. When I'm nervous, I tend to like drown things out. Yeah. So I think I just need to make it more concise and get it more.
Get in, tell your story, and get out.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, you did a nice job, except for the overtime. Thank you. Okay, next. Yeah, another volunteer. Hi, how you doing?
Hi,
That's good. Okay. Who's managing attention? Communicating respect non-verbally. Finding friendly eyes, you're the front and center. Say your name, give love.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Han.
Hi, Han.
Reading is to the mind what exercise to the body. I cannot live without books, said by the Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States. And Chairman Mao, who is the greatest leader in the recent Chinese history. He's just crazy about reading. You cannot find any place to stand in his bedroom because everywhere is only one thing, book. And today, I will share you guys my personal commitment that is keep reading every day. I will give you the 2 reasons why I set reading as my personal commitment and also told you the 3 actions I already take to try to achieve them. But before that, let's go back to the beginning. Why there are so many famous people are crazy about reading? I think it is just like what I mentioned at the very start. Reading is to the mind what an exercise to the body. Exercise makes your body become stronger, and reading makes your mind become stronger. It will not only tell you the truth of the world, but also let you know how should you behave yourself in your daily life. Just like an old Chinese saying, there is gold in books and there is also beauty in the books. The first reason for me to set the reading as my personal commitment is that I think reading makes me think. Human's life is so limited. We don't have time to experience everything and then understand how should we work and how the world really works. That's why we need to think. And read is the best way to encourage you to think and give you the inspiration. When I was young, I was afraid of water. And I have no idea that how should I overcome it. Until I read a novel that it describes a boy that how he starts swimming and overcomes the fear of water. And after reading that, I just rethink myself. Yes, I can do the same thing and overcome the fear. And I think this is why I think reading is really useful and helpful. And it really encourages you to think. And the second reason I think is reading will make yourself become peaceful and calm down. I don't know where you guys have this kind of experience, that is, after the whole afternoon's reading, you just feel so peaceful and quiet and fulfilled in your heart. And when I was 11 years old, I hang out with my parents and their friends. You know that adults just chat with each other in some topic that I'm not interested in, and others just playing mahjong. So, as maybe you can think, very quickly I feel really boring, and I complain to my mother that, oh, it's so boring, let's go home, Mom. And I just gradually become very impatient and anxious. At that time, my mom, who is a Chinese teacher, just passed me a book and say, try to read this. Yeah, and I started reading. And gradually, I calmed down and peaceful. And no longer anxious anymore. And maybe like a 4 hours reading when we need to go back home,